Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have an exciting Turner Syndrome video today. So today is February 1st, which is the start of Turner Syndrome Awareness Month. And because of that, I thought I would tell my story again. I know I've talked a lot about it, but I feel like there's never any harm in sharing my story and kind of just talking about what I want to do to raise more awareness. Starting with my story, I was diagnosed in utero. My mom was still pregnant with me when they found out. The way they found out, what alerted the doctors to something being wrong, was the fluid retention. There was fluid in the back of my neck and in my chest cavity where my heart and my lungs were developing. And at first, they weren't sure of what that fluid was. In fact, me and my mom were just talking about this the other day again, that they could not tell on the lower level ultrasounds if my skull was completely intact. And if it was, that's a different story than if it wasn't. They thought it could have been spina bifida and my brain seeping out of the back of my head. Much scarier and a much more bigger problem to some extent. So they ended up doing a higher level ultrasound and seeing that my skull was completely intact and it was just fluid retention. I can't remember the medical terms for it, but basically that's what it is, fluid retention. And they immediately sent my parents to a specialist and to a genetic counselor. So they started seeing the very top prenatal diagnosis doctor at UC Davis, and they had a very top genetic counselor that they went in to see. She immediately took them to the very top prenatal diagnosis doctor, which is funny. We saw him in a commercial on TV for Mayo Clinic. Really, really funny. I think she even brought me back to them once after I was born and kind of introduced me to them, and they were all so ecstatic and so happy that I was doing so well. We had the best doctors. We had the top in the field in our area. It was crazy. It was incredible. So they did all this testing. They did an amniocentesis, and they diagnosed me with Turner Syndrome. At that point, they thought I was classic, but they couldn't tell for sure. They said, you'll need to have her tested again after she's born, because we can only get such accurate results from testing the fluid around the baby, which is what an amniocentesis is. My mom and dad were told a lot of scary things. That I wouldn't make it, that my lungs would never develop, that my heart would get crushed by the fluid, and 26 weeks in, that all turned around. They did another ultrasound just to make sure everything was still the same, and it had totally changed. All the fluid in my chest cavity was gone, and half the fluid that was in the back of my neck was gone. So it had completely reversed itself. It had completely turned itself around, and they actually wrote medical journals like I talked about. There was 2 written about it. I've only read 1 because my mom was only given a copy of 1, but I probably could somewhere find the other one. They had never seen a case so severe turn itself around like that. And after that, my parents said, no, while they were pushing them to terminate, my parents said, no, we're not going to go through with it then. If everything's turning around, we're going to see this through and see what happens. And they did, and I was fine. The doctors gave very scary circumstances based off of what they could tell. That is, I think, a perfect example of each case can be very, very different and really can't predict what's going to happen with each Turner's girl. Everything is going to look different from another. It is not going to be the exact same story, the exact same case, the same symptoms. Like, everything can look so different, and that is just a perfect example. This is also a major part of my testimony as a Christian, and if you want to watch that video, I will link it. It is a major part of it, because I do really feel like that was God saving me. But after that point, my mom was really nervous, but everything went fine. Everything went great. I was her easiest physically labor and delivery. The doctor actually gave her an epidural because he wanted to speed things up so he would be the one to deliver me. And so physically, she had it the easiest with me. I was the only one she had an epidural with. But they checked me over after I was born. I was fine. They couldn't find anything. And I actually scored just as high, if not higher, on the afterbirth awareness tests as my brothers did. I was in no way any different. And they did ask my parents if I wanted to do the neck surgery at that point. Not immediately, but when I was pretty little, they asked if I wanted to have that done. And my parents were like, honestly, we can barely notice it, and we're going to just leave that up to her if she wants to when she gets older. So they didn't do it then, and I ended up getting it later because I wanted to. But I constantly had my heart checked, had my hearing checked. Everything always came back normal, and everything to this day has always come back normal. And that has been a huge blessing for me. The biggest ways it's impacted my life is being short, taking a pill every day, and infertility. That is the way it has changed my life. And I do kind of want to show some stories in the description, share some video links of stories that are different cases, just to kind of show the more serious side. This does not always go that well. There are girls that actually die from the heart problems that don't make it. There are girls that miscarry before they are ever born. It is a very scary and diverse thing, and I think it is a very serious thing, and I think it's something that we need to be putting effort into figuring out more about. We don't know that much about it. We have only been able to figure out so much, and the statistics that we have on it, I actually heard from doctors that because of the smaller group of girls we can take it from, we're taking it from the group of girls that make it, first of all, that aren't terminated, that survive that long to go through certain aspects of Turner syndrome life, like making it to the point of even taking HRT. What does that look like? What helps them? Of having kids, what ways work with them? What's the odds and statistics for the different variations? And because of that, the statistics only can tell us so much, because they're from a very small group, and that doesn't give a huge picture of it. That doesn't give a huge amount of information. The ways I have worked on raising awareness has been YouTube, obviously. Sharing it on Facebook now. Sharing all of my stuff on Twitter. And I was made aware that there are Turner syndrome walks in my hometown. And there's one this upcoming Saturday on the 4th. I don't know if I'm going to make it just because I've been going to SAC so much recently. And gas money wise, time wise, like that's just, it's a little close, and so I don't think I'm going to end up going to this one. But I definitely am looking into one for the future. If not another one sometime this year, that one next year. And I would encourage everybody to get involved in that way, because a walk is a great way to raise awareness, and you can share it, you can get it out there, you can show you're there, and an aspect of it I'm really excited about is getting to meet other Turner syndrome women, getting to know them, getting to make friends that have it also, so they kind of understand and we can share experiences of living life with it. So that is my awareness video. I really wanted to do a awareness month video, and I will be talking about it more and more throughout the month probably. Hopefully I can get a walk in at some point. I would love to this year, but we'll see. We'll see. I hope this gave you a little more information, a little encouragement and idea for raising awareness. I will link all of my informational videos I've done, and I encourage you to go watch those to find out more and ask any questions at all that you have about Turner syndrome in the comments below. I would love to answer them, and if it's something I can't answer, we can find it out together. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody to raise awareness. And if you are not already subscribed, click the screen and subscribe, and then you can see when the next video comes out. And I will see you guys in that one. Bye!